Who in Wisconsin's congressional delegation spends the most time in Washington? Who spends the most time back home? Gannett newspapers looked at congressional spending records and other public records to make that determination. And we're talking now about the results of the investigation with Gannett Washington Bureau reporter Donovan Slack, who's at our Hearst Bureau in Washington. Donovan, good to have you with us, and let's get right to the meat of the investigation. Who does spend the most time in Washington? Who spends the most time back here in the state of Wisconsin?
Well, you know, one of the interesting things I found, and I think it's pretty much expected, is that those that have been in office the longest tended to spend the most time here in Washington and the least time in Wisconsin. And that would be Representative Tom Petri of the 6th Congressional District between Milwaukee and Green Bay there, and also Representative James Sensenbrenner. And then, of course, the people who spent the most amount of time in Wisconsin were the newer elected members, like Representative Sean Duffy of Wausau, also Mark Pocan of Madison, and the others were somewhere in the middle.
Mm-hmm. And give us a sense of how you came up with this information, because I mentioned that this is public records, but this is not just a simple investigation, is it?
Oh, frankly, it took me months. I had to dig through Senate and House spending records. I mean, essentially, when I started out on this, I thought, you know, there's all these accusations all the time of politicians not spending enough time at home or spending too much time in Washington or even too little. And I thought, well, where's the data? Let me go find this data and see what the story actually is. So I did go through spending records, and I built spreadsheets. I input flight data, and then I verified each one of those travel schedules with the members of Congress themselves.
Let's talk about the political risk of being perceived as having gone Washington, something that I think Tom Petri would have had to fight had he chosen to run for re-election. What's the danger here?
Absolutely. I mean, the danger is twofold. Number one is obviously political. If an opponent can prove the argument that you have gone Washington, as you say, you've become a member of this institution that people hate, much more so than you are a resident of Wisconsin. If someone can prove that, then you are at a real risk of losing re-election. The other issue, and this is mainly charges from Tea Party groups that say, they have actually lost touch with constituents by spending too much time in Washington. They are not representing their views adequately. They are doing what they want to do, what Washington wants them to do, and not what Wisconsinites want them to do. And they learn what Wisconsinites want them to do by spending time in Wisconsin. So there are two. One's a political risk, and the other is perhaps a real risk.
And is there any upside to spending time in Washington? Does it help you develop relationships with your fellow lawmakers?
Well, and this is the debate of our time, frankly. If you're not spending enough time in Washington, people argue that you're not going to hang out with each other, you're not going to build relationships, as you said, and you're not going to overcome this gridlock. But so there's a debate. You know, it's really up to voters to decide what they want.
Mm-hmm. Donovan Slack is with the Gannett Washington Bureau, and we appreciate her joining us with the results of her investigation. Thanks very much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
And for the full list of how much time members spend in Washington or back home, go to the link to the Gannett newspaper's investigation on our website, the upfront section of WISN.com. Coming up next, why what's old is new again and the race for governor.